All right, let's get into it. Forget all the who would win in a fight arguments you've seen a million times. We're going to ask a much better, much deeper question. What happens when the basic fundamental laws of one universe just smash right into another? Today, we're diving into a thought experiment that is way bigger than just a simple fight. See, the whole idea here is that this isn't a story about a battle. It's about a collision of cosmic systems. When Superman shows up in the Star Wars galaxy, he isn't just a new character on the scene. No, he's a whole new set of rules that threatens to break the entire game. And that brings us to the real question, right? What happens when a galaxy that is completely defined by the Force, this energy field that connects literally everything, runs into something or someone that exists totally outside of it? He's not a Jedi, he's not a Sith, he is an impossible variable, a problem so far outside their context that no one is even remotely prepared for. So it all kicks off with his arrival. And listen, this is not some clean hyperspace jump. This is a violent tear in the very fabric of reality. And the shockwave from his awakening, well, that's going to be the first big test of this galaxy's most fundamental laws. Just try to picture this. A ragged, unstable wound just rips open in the dead of space. It's not a portal, it's a disruption, and it's leaking energies that just defy all known physics. And out of this tear, a single inert body's just ejected, lifeless, drifting. This is Kal-El, an impossibility that is now very, very real. So his body, totally depleted and dormant, starts soaking in the radiation from this new yellow sun. And it's like a cellular ignition, bringing him back to life, stronger than he's ever been. But here's the really crucial part. His awakening isn't some private moment. The instant he becomes aware of his own absolute strength, the galaxy itself feels. And this creates an immediate crisis. From Yoda sitting in the Jedi Temple, to Luke on some dusty desert moon, all the way to the Emperor on his throne, they all feel it. It's not a tremor in the Force, it's something totally alien. It's like a mountain just suddenly appeared in the middle of a river. The current of the Force now has to flow around this presence because it cannot flow through him. And that's when the terrifying truth dawns on all of them. He is completely outside the Force. Okay, so the anomaly is here. Now let's see how the two big powers in the galaxy, the Jedi and the Sith, deal with it. Because their reactions don't just show us their strategies, they expose the fundamental flaws at the very core of their worldviews. So here's the split. The Jedi, they're immediately trapped by their own dogma, and it leads to total intellectual paralysis. They just can't comprehend what they can't categorize. The Sith, on the other hand, who are only driven by the cold calculus of power, they experience pure strategic terror. They see the truth with horrifying clarity. This being is a variable that breaks all of their rules. Let's really dig into the Jedi reaction for a second, because it's kind of a mess. The council gets together not to act, but to just debate in circles. Is he a virgin in the Force? A forgotten superweapon? Is he some kind of god? They're desperately trying to jam this square peg into the round hole of their belief system. And in doing so, they're just proving how limited their system really is. Their whole worldview is crumbling right under their feet. And this is the chilling report they get back from the Jedi they send to investigate. They try to read him, to feel his alignment in the Force, like they've done with every other being they've ever met. But they hit a metaphysical brick wall. They find nothing. No light side, no dark side, not even a faint echo. Just resistance. To them, he is fundamentally unknowable. So while the Jedi are lost in this theological fog, Palpatine sees the situation with perfect, cold clarity. For him, this isn't just some physical threat. This is a philosophical invalidation of his entire life's work. It's an equation that he simply cannot solve. And here's why, you see. Palpatine's power, his entire empire, it's all built on one single idea. Everything and everyone can be corrupted, tempted, and controlled through the Force. But this being, he can't be turned to the dark side. He can't be tempted with power. He can't be controlled. He breaks the fundamental rules that the Sith, and especially Palpatine, absolutely depend on to win. So, what does the most powerful man in the galaxy do about this? He does nothing. He doesn't send fleets. He doesn't send assassins. He hides. And this isn't cowardice. This is the only rational move for a chess grandmaster who just realized his opponent can move pieces in ways he can't even begin to comprehend. It's a silent admission that the game is over. So now we get to the next phase. The real impact here isn't happening in throne rooms or in council chambers. No, it's in how Superman's method of operation proves to be more devastating to tyranny than any rebellion ever could be. See, he doesn't lead an army. He doesn't write some political manifesto. His method is devastatingly simple. He just saves people, one world at a time. He shows up on a planet run by warlords and melts their blasters into scrap metal without hurting anyone. He flies to the spice mines of Kessel and shatters the chains of every single slave in an afternoon. He ends planetary famines not with complicated supply lines, but by literally bringing them the food himself. Entire Imperial fleets are just rendered useless. These aren't acts of war. They're acts of radical compassion, and they are completely unstoppable. And by doing this over and over again, he proves a new thesis to the galaxy, a radical, system-breaking truth that just completely dismantles the entire foundation of Sith ideology. This new law is simple. Power does not need domination to win. You have to understand, he isn't fighting the Empire. He is making it irrelevant. By demonstrating a better way, by showing that ultimate strength can be used to protect the weak, he dismantles the whole philosophy of fear and control that the Empire is built on. It's not a military victory. It is a philosophical one. The system of tyranny isn't defeated in battle. It's simply made obsolete. And that brings us to the aftermath. The galaxy has now seen something that it can never unlearn. The whole paradigm has shifted permanently. This new reality introduces a cosmic principle that changes absolutely everything. I mean, just look at the consequences for the old guard. The Jedi's dogma is shattered. They have to evolve or they will just fade away. The Sith's power, which was based on fear and domination, is now proven to be inferior. It becomes irrelevant. And maybe most shocking of all, the Force itself gets demoted. It is no longer the ultimate authority in the cosmos. So why? Why does all of this happen? Well, it all comes down to this one single powerful reason. For the first time ever, a being with the power to rule the entire galaxy, to become a new God Emperor, simply refuses. He breaks that ancient galactic cycle that has always equated ultimate power with ultimate control. This kicks off a brand new era. It's not an age of balance between light and dark anymore. It's an age of accountability. The galactic conversation is no longer about who has more power, but about how that power is used. It's a fundamental shift from the balance of power to the responsibility of power. Strength is no longer the measure of greatness. Restraint is. And with that, the collision is complete. The Kryptonians' presence didn't just change the course of history. It invalidated the core truths of an entire reality, which leaves us, and that entire galaxy, with one final haunting question. If the Force is no longer the ultimate power, what happens to a galaxy that was built entirely around it?